Hey, everybody. Thank you for thinking about Jackson. Really appreciate Sister Ashaki for bringing us on, for bringing me on, for inviting me. I know oftentimes, you want to hear directly from the man in charge, the mayor, right? But here in Jackson, we believe that we're all the mayors, that we are engaging in a process of collective governance. And so we're all here trying to save ourselves, trying to correct problems that we didn't create, but create solutions that create dignity and wellness for us all. So I'm Rukia Lumumba. I am the executive director of the People's Advocacy Institute. I'm also co-director of the Electoral Justice Project of the Movement for Black Lives. Longtime member of the Malcolm X grassroots movement. I'm the daughter of Rukia Lumumba, Sr., who was mayor and council person, but most importantly, a community member, an activist, someone who dedicated his life to our liberation and the liberation of people across the world. And Nubia Lumumba, my mother, who we celebrated her birthday yesterday. She passed away before my father, but she was one of those people who taught us the importance of building the community as the family and the family as the community. So, I come to you deep in this work, come to you as also a campaign manager for Rukia Lumumba, my younger brother, who we've seen win 2 successful campaigns. And I'm proud to say that I helped to lead him and build that strategy along with the people of Jackson. So that's a little bit of who I am. Right now, our organization, the People's Advocacy Institute, is a hyper-local organization here in Mississippi that works to build transformative justice in the South. So we incubate many programs. We consider ourselves an abolitionist organization. We incubate many programs that fill gaps in system change here in Mississippi. So one of those, every time we're guided by what we call people's assemblies. We use the people's assemblies as our co-governing instrument, how the people are able to engage in the governing process. And so through our people's assembly process, we identify projects and programs that community members want to design and implement and lead. And my organization provides the resources, technical assistance, management, and everything that's needed to get it off the ground and make it happen and help it be sustainable. So right now, one of those efforts is our Mississippi Rapid Response Coalition, which came about as a result of, initially came about as a result of the COVID shutdowns. Realizing that they were going to happen, we were ready the day of the shutdown to get out into the community and distribute food, water, and all things that people were needing that they couldn't get to, setting up rides for people to get back and forth to their doctor's appointments, and elders and people living with vulnerabilities and children. From that last year, we continued our efforts and really got, further impacted by climate change, experienced the winter storm of 2021. The day after the unprecedented storm that we experienced, we were out in the community distributing water, kerosene for heat, food, hot meals, and groceries to residents who were out electricity. 130 pipes burst across the city, so we're without water and without heat. And people here, we wear two sweaters in the winter, right? We don't get cold like that. And so that's how we got started with this larger coalition. It's made up of over 30 organizations across the state of Mississippi, many of them based here in Jackson, but definitely across the state. And our efforts crisscrossed across the state to all impacted areas, so in Jackson and throughout. Right now in Jackson, we were planning already before the floods took effect last week. We were already planning to distribute water because we are constantly under a boil water notice. Jackson, since I was a child, has received boil water notices. We have never drank the tap water. It's not something that you do here in Jackson. So since administration, since white flight, since before white flight, we were boiling water. And so our infrastructure, our water treatment infrastructure has only gotten worse. And not because administrations and Black leadership has been neglectful. Black leadership has consistently, since the first mayor, Harvey Johnson, came into office in 1997, has consistently requested support from the state to fix the failing water plant that exists here, to replace the old pipes that are filled with mud because they're so old that things can creep into them. So even though our water treatment facility might have water that is filtered well, when it's leaving, it has to go through some very old pipes before it gets to our houses, right? And so, and that's part of the problem. We've had, because of the failing pipes, because of the overworked, old, fragile plant that we have, water plant that we have, we're constantly seeing it break down. We're constantly in a place or stage where people are living with sewage in their backyards because we don't have the proper plumbing or the proper equipment to even pump the sewage out. So in areas in Jackson, like South Jackson, which is furthest away from the water plant, they're suffering. Our people are suffering, right? And more important than all of that, recognizing this, and forgive me because I'm actually in a U-Haul now. We're in one neighborhood distributing door-to-door water to community members. And so, one of the really important things I like to say is that not only has administrations over and over again requested support, and also managed a water plant that was failing, managed a water plant and made sure to provide us with at least quality water that we didn't have to worry about getting sick from brushing our teeth or taking baths or things like that. It wasn't a state government that helped us get to the place where we are at least still living and not in the situation where many of us are dying and suffering of disease after disease like we see in Flint. It was the genius, the ingenuity of us figuring out with our few dollars in a capital city that has a $300 million budget, how to fix a water plant and keep it up and running that has a $1 billion infrastructure problem. So what we've been doing is what I would consider making miracles out of very little. We've been maintaining, and residents here have been maintaining. Residents here, I will, ma'am. Okay. Residents here, just text me or remind me. Residents here have been, I was one of the residents who organized for us to be out here in her whole neighborhood, going door to door, right? But residents here have been patient. They have been understanding. They have been one for years. I'm talking about years, y'all. I'm not talking about a couple of weeks, a couple of months. I'm talking about years. I'm talking about residents coming together. I mean, really engage in what we call collective leadership, coming together to figure out solutions. The pipe problems that we have cause our roads to erode, right? They call erosion of our roads, causing potholes throughout the city. It was residents that would fill these potholes with whatever materials they have because they knew that the city wasn't going to be able to fix every pothole that existed. It was residents that were figuring out how to do things that kept us well, kept us safe. And it's residents who've been patient. It's also residents who in 2013, during my father's administration, voted to tax themselves. Now he wasn't for taxing. He wasn't for taxes, right? But they voted to tax themselves an additional 1% for all of that money, that tax money, to go directly to our water infrastructure issues. And what happened? The state preempted for a period of time and tried to take the money that we were earning and put it under state control. Right? After many fights, we were able to get the majority of that money to be placed back into the Jackson water infrastructure. But that bit of money is only about 13 million. We have a population where over 24% of our population here in Jackson is living below the poverty line. Yet, we have all of the major hospitals in the state. We have we have 4 colleges, universities right here in the city. We are one of the biggest employers in the state. But what happens is that as soon as Jackson became predominantly Black and became led by Black people, and I'm going to be real, because what we haven't been hearing on the news, what has been the elephant in the room is that this is a Black city. This is a city that is Black. This is a city that is indigenous. This is a city that has a growing immigrant community. This is a city that recognizes that the people here believe in progress, right? And as a result of that, what we've seen is over and over and over again, a divestment from the state, a divestment from people who want to see something new. And so they move out to the suburbs that when I first was growing up didn't have as many as 20,000 people living in them. Now they got over 50,000 people living in them all across. You can go to any suburb that you want to see, and consistently divesting. They don't pay taxes in Jackson. They work in Jackson, but don't pay taxes in Jackson. So what's happening is that the people of Jackson, people who are struggling to earn a living, struggling to do all of that, are holding the brunt for the state. The state itself doesn't pay taxes in Jackson. The state, we are the capital city. The state capital is in Jackson, meaning all of the legislators have offices here. And so they don't pay taxes. They're state property that the state doesn't maintain or care for, right? And so when we talk about water and infrastructure, it is absolutely the state's responsibility. They hold land here. They have a responsibility, and they don't pay it. They don't pay water. They don't pay nothing. They have a responsibility to this place. And more importantly, they have a responsibility to these people. People who literally built not only Jackson and Mississippi up through our sweat and blood of our ancestors, but also built this nation. It was cotton. It was cotton that built the superpower that we know now as the United States of America. So when we're asking for your support, we're asking for your support, not just because we're in a dire situation. We're asking for your support because we've been responsible. We've been struggling, and we are now ready to have some people come in and support us and hold this governor accountable and hold these state legislators accountable and really fight against a narrative that Black people can't lead, that we can't cover, right? And so that's what I gotta say. I know the brothers that are with me are ready to pull off, and I'm holding up the driver's seat. But I'm gonna turn off my camera so I can get out the way.
Do you have a few minutes so we can get a few questions in if anybody has them? Excellent presentation. And we definitely want to hear what's needed now and how we can, what we can do to help.
We absolutely, at this point in time, definitely do need water ongoing. Hold on one second, I'm sorry. We have information where folks can donate, where folks can volunteer. We have a supply list of things that if people want to donate other things other than water, then we can definitely provide that list as well. We also have talking points, right? To help you share this narrative as well of what's going on here. And so, yeah, we just appreciate any support that y'all can offer.
Now, would money be more helpful, or sending actual supplies and water be more helpful?
Either is good. We definitely need the water. We also need the money. This is not something that, we're asking volunteers to be out here almost every day, like 7 days a week we're distributing. Sorry, that's the car. Y'all welcome. Thanks for your patience. Appreciate you. And so this is also an opportunity for some folks in the community who aren't working, who are underemployed, to not just volunteer, but also let's put some money in their pockets to be out here every day. This is hard work, y'all. I think every day, right? It's not easy lugging water from house to house. And we don't live in most of us don't live in apartments here down south in Mississippi. We got houses with land, and it take a long time to walk to your neighbor's house.
That's true.
So, I'm not complaining, but I am saying that we value our people's time, and whenever we can provide financial support to the many people that are coming out on a day-to-day basis, given their whole days, we want to be able to show them some love and create stipends for folks. So money is helpful in that regard. The majority of our money, I want to be clear, does go to water. The majority of our money, literally 90% right now, goes to water. And we're trying to investigate. We have people researching now the best filtration systems that we can use to see if we can begin to purchase those to put in people's homes. We've been learning about solar filtration systems. Extremely expensive, but it's something that we're trying to figure out. And we're also open to feedback. Like, if folks have done this before and been through this and have advice for us and suggestions, we want to look. We're all ears. I'm going to drop in the chat some links that you can use. I'm also going to drop into the chat our Jackson People's Assembly webpage. That page is being updated to include all of this information. It's going to be a space where people can go and get more resources about what the coalition is, who are members of the coalition, how do you reach out and make donations, all of that. Right now, we've been doing that by sending the information that I just dropped in the chat to people. But we're going to have it on the website soon. You know, I do want to acknowledge that literally the moment the floods happened, we went to work. And so what we haven't done is been good at updating our website to show that. The city has been really good at updating the website to at least show all of the distribution locations that we have where we're sending out water, and then also how we're delivering water. But we haven't been really great at helping people understand how they can donate. So I do want to acknowledge where we can grow.
I'd like to ask if the city or the recovery funds that are out there for utilities, public utilities, upgrading and replacing utilities, has the city been able to get some of those funds, the federal funds?
Okay, yeah, so here's the thing. So the federal government has allocated a certain amount of funds to Mississippi. Included in that is funds specifically for Jackson. However, because it has to go through the state, it is still up to the state to actually distribute those funds to the city. And so what we are experiencing has been over and over again, the state saying, well, oh, we're only gonna match what the city is able to produce. Oh, we're gonna only do this. So federal government may give 46 million. The state literally said, oh, well, we're only gonna give you 25, right? So what we're experiencing, and that's why we need the pressure. What we've seen with this governor in particular is that when we have national pressure put on them, we experienced this when we were fighting against, when we were fighting for our folks behind the wall in prisons throughout Mississippi who were uprising because of the conditions they were living in. And we were trying to get some units shut down, and eventually Parchman shut down altogether. But in any regard, it was through that national pressure, public pressure that he got from different, honestly, specifically different football leaguers, right? That we were able to get, get a couple of units shut down and get some conditions shifted more than they had ever done before. For the first time, and actually were able to get the Department of Justice to actually come in and investigate. They had never done it before. So anyway, we know that this national pressure means something. It means a whole lot. The moment you all turn your eyes away from Jackson, what we've seen is that he goes back to his old ways. Mm-hmm. And so we need the pressure to stay on him until it is fixed.
That's right.
We need that pressure and that attention.
You know, we're with you. So thank you so much for being here.
Thank y'all so much. I'm sorry.
No problem.
Okay. We have been several conversations. Thank y'all so much.
All right. Thank you.
All right. I will. Thank you.